Hello everyone, my name's Tina. I'm here on behalf of the National Apprenticeship Services today to give you an introduction on apprenticeships. I'm going to give you information on what apprenticeships are, where to look for these apprenticeship vacancies, the range of apprenticeships you can do, and I'm also going to touch on those higher degree apprenticeships as well. Then I'm going to talk to you about where we can look for those apprenticeship vacancies and offer you some advice and support and guidance on where to look as well. So, what are apprenticeships then? I always say to students, view an apprenticeship as a full-time job. In essence, that's what it is. There's two components of an apprenticeship where you're studying and you're working at the same time. So it's split. It has an 80 and a 20% split. 80% of the time you are with the employer working, and 20% of the time is the off-the-job learning that's allocated for training for the apprenticeship. So you do get paid for both components of the apprenticeship. The national minimum wage for an apprenticeship is £4.15 an hour. And I know at this point, some of you might be thinking, oh, gosh, that's really low, £4.15 an hour. But that really does depend on the occupation you're going into and the employer itself. When you start doing your research and looking at the apprenticeship pathways, you'll see a lot of employers pay more than that £4.15. And again, that depends on the level of apprenticeship you are taking on as well. You are going to be earning a wage, and always remember, guys, you've got to start somewhere. And £4.15, it will go up as your age goes up and as your experience and your skills and your qualifications go up. So it's something to remember and to think about. So when you are doing the 20% off the job learning, you are going to be studying towards a qualification that's relevant to that role. So it's really important that the apprenticeship pathway that you may be considering or want to do is something that you're interested in to go further on into a career. That it's a pathway that you want to get relevant qualifications and again gain those transferable skills. It's really important that you do that. So you are going to be studying to a job related qualification. So you are going to be working full time as well. So it's 30 hours a week. But in essence, you'll probably be working about 37.5 hours. That does incorporate the training. Yes, that does sound like a long time, but again, it mirrors your school timetable as well. But yeah, so you will be working those hours. A lot of students do ask me, well, do I get a social life if I'm doing those hours? And the answer is yes. You still get your weekends to yourself if you're not doing an apprenticeship that requires you to work Saturdays, but most instances it's Monday to Friday. So you are an employer for that organisation at the end of the day, so you're not treated any differently. A lot of people or students that I talk to always think that if you're doing an apprenticeship, you're treated differently by the employer. I think that's a myth that's gone around, but you are treated exactly the same as any other employer in that organisation. You get a contract of employment, which is signed between yourself and the employer. And in that contract of employment, you will have all your hours, what you're going to be doing, your roles and responsibilities, all in that contract of employment. You also have entitled to annual leave, holiday pay, sick pay, and any other benefits that organisation offer its employers, you're entitled to it as well. So you're not treated any differently. But it is a real job with real responsibilities. And why we focus on that point is with an apprenticeship, I think negative stigma that's attached around apprenticeship, saying that you're only going to be making teas and coffees or you're answering the phone calls all day. That's not the case. An apprenticeship is a real job. It's giving you that platform to go up further into your career by developing your skills, your transferable skills, and developing your qualifications. So you are going to get a job where you've got real responsibility. Again, you'll have a job description and a contract of employment. So you will be given responsibilities. For example, if you're working on projects, you'll have to attend meetings, write reports, even contribute at the meetings. If you're working in an office environment, you will be given responsibilities within your role to carry out. And again, it is a real job. It is, if you're looking for marketing, you might be doing a marketing apprenticeship and a marketing role with that organisation. It could be IT. So it is a real job with real responsibilities. So remember that. It's not about teas and coffees, guys. It's not about photocopying. It is a job to develop your skills, your qualifications, and again, if you're interested, getting on to the next level of apprenticeship. So on the screen here, you'll see the different level of apprenticeships that are available to you, right the way from level 2 all the way up to level 7. So your level 2 apprenticeships or your intermediate level apprenticeships, they usually take about a year to complete, and the equivalent to 5 GCSEs. Then you've got your level 3 apprenticeships. They're usually about 2 years to complete, and they're equivalent to A levels. And then you've got levels 4, 5, 6, and 7, which are deemed as your higher and your degree level apprenticeships. So level 4 and 5, your first years of your degree, and they're your higher apprenticeships, and they can take up to 2 to 3 years to complete. Then you've got levels 4, 5, and 6. At level 6, you can get your bachelor's, just like you would go to as you were going to university, and they can take anything between 4 to 6 years to complete. And then you've got your master's at level 7. So it's a progressive momentum. To start an intermediate apprenticeship, you've got to have completed year 11 and be 16 years of age. And then there's no upper age limit for an apprenticeship. So when it's right for you is when you might think you want to start an apprenticeship. You might think year 11 is not, after year 11, you want to get into the world of work. You want to develop your skills. You want to earn money. You may look for apprenticeships then. Some of you might think, well, actually, I want to do my A levels or go to college because it gives you a better footing. Then you might look at the higher or the degree level apprenticeships. It's again up to you when you would like to start an apprenticeship and when you think it's right for you, given your individual circumstances. For each of the levels, develop your skills, develop your knowledge, and develop your behaviours. You're in a professional environment as well as you're working. And again, employers, if you start off on one level, have seen that you've invested a lot of time and effort into the apprenticeship. They will ask you if you want to do the next level of apprenticeship as well. So what can you do apprenticeships in? Now on the screen here, it's just a snapshot of vacancies that offer the apprenticeship pathway. A lot of employers see that apprenticeships are a good way of getting a student just like yourselves into their into employment, so they can coach you and mold you and guide you into their organization. So you're developing their organizational needs and developing them as an organization going forward. So on the screen here, you'll see there's lots of pathways. I think apprenticeships have always been associated with trade and the construction industry. As you can see, there's a lot more opportunities for you to do an apprenticeship in. And again, like I said, employers are seeing the value of having students like yourselves coming into the workforce to develop those transferable skills. By transferable skills, I'm talking communication, team building, teamwork. Those are the kind of skills employers are looking for. And an apprenticeship gives you that opportunity to develop those skills. On a website called Amazing Apprenticeships, if you've not been on there before, it's a really good website for you to get lots of information around apprenticeships. You'll see an A to Z list of the possible pathways of apprenticeships that you can do. And it's always worth having a look, because you might be thinking, well, actually, I don't know what apprenticeships I want to do. Have a look at that list. And furthermore, if you've got a favourite subject, you've got to remember apprenticeships are not subject-based or occupation-based. If you've got a favourite subject, there's also on Amazing Apprenticeships for resources for students section. Where can this subject take you? And it gives you relevant roles that you can do utilising the favourite subjects you may have at school. So it's worth doing your research now and having a look at those pathways that are available for you. So what employers, or which employers, offer the apprenticeship pathway? And again, on the screen here, you can see lots of employers that are offering the apprenticeship pathway for different levels of apprenticeships as well. Lots of organisations that you recognise here: Airbus, IBM, Google, the Air Force. So lots of large organisations offer the apprenticeship pathway. But it's also important to remember that you've got local and small to medium-sized businesses that offer the apprenticeship pathway as well. And again, I know that some of you might be thinking, well, actually, why have you got this, for example, Starbucks on this slide? Starbucks, we don't want to make coffee all our life, but it's not about that. Starbucks is an international company with lots of departments within that organisation. Where is it you want to utilise your skills? So have a look, do your research around what employers are offering, what apprenticeships, and furthermore, also don't forget you've got the small to medium-sized companies that offer that apprenticeship pathway as well. And again, it is about really important to remember to look inside that company. I've met a lot of students that want to go into IT, want to go into finance, and they start looking at IBM, BA Systems, or looking for the finance company like Ernst & Young. But each and every organization will have these departments. You've got an IT department, you've got a finance department. Where do you fit? What skill set do you want to develop, and where do you fit in the grand scheme of things as well? So have a look at these organizations. They will have all these different departments that you may and not think about when it comes to looking for apprenticeship pathways. You all want to work for those large organizations, and why not? They offer really good benefits as well, just like your small to medium-sized companies, but they all have these departments. Some apprenticeships might offer you rotational learning to get you to think about how an organization works. And again, these are kind of some on the screen here are just a list of departments that you may not be aware of that offer the apprenticeship pathway within any organization. So, some truths about apprenticeships, and I guess a lot of the truths is to dispel those myths, those negative myths about apprenticeships. Now, often enough, I've heard that apprenticeships are not seen as a really good pathway to take. The employer lets you go. It's cheap labour. It's not the case. Apprenticeships have changed drastically over the last few years. So the truths are you are going to earn a salary, whether it's £4.15 an hour or whether that goes up, you will earn a salary. 90% stay in work. So basically, when the employer, if you've shown an evidence that you have put in hard graft during your apprenticeship, they'll ask you to stay on, and they'll ask you if you want to do the next level of apprenticeship. You can also gain a degree by doing the apprenticeship pathway, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. When you do a degree, you have no fees to pay. And the two boxes at the bottom of the screen, social life and can you relocate? So those are the two main ones that students ask me all the time. So apprenticeships are not going to be always available on the doorstep. You are going to have that opportunity to relocate if you want some independency, financial stability. You have to relocate, and they're not going to always, like I say, be on the doorstep. And social life, a lot of students say, do I get a social life if I do the apprenticeship pathway? And the answer is yes. At the end of the day, you'll be working, you'll be earning a salary, so you will have money to fund that social life as well. So it is really important. It's not just don't feel that. I know it can be daunting, so don't feel that, oh, how am I going to feel by doing the apprenticeship? You've got support in place. You've got support in the workplace by your current whoever's offering you an apprenticeship, but then also they'll have other apprentices in the organisation. So you might get a mentor, a buddy, to make sure that you have got someone there to support you. It can be challenging doing studying and working at the same time, but again, it's also about you having that support in place to make sure you get the best opportunity whilst you're doing that apprenticeship and be successful at that as well. So there's different delivery models when it comes to apprenticeships. So the 20% of your job learning is paid. It's paid time for you to get the relevant qualifications for that role. A lot of the learning comes from the workplace because it's hands-on practical knowledge that you'll be gaining. Some employers will opt for the online learning. Some employers will want you to attend college or a training provider where it's classroom-based learning. Now, usually it's Friday that the employer will choose to put you through the education element of the apprenticeship to get your qualifications. Again, it can be a mixture of exams. It could be a mixture of assignments. And it's really important to read through the information in the application form, what that's structured and what that's going to look like. A lot of students ask me, well, I don't like exams. There are apprenticeships that are assessment based and vice versa. If you're not an assessment person, you prefer exams. Equally, there in some apprenticeships, especially the higher level 3 and higher ones, you will have to do an endpoint assessment, which basically means at the end of your apprenticeship, you just need to showcase what you've studied. And again, you'll get support in doing that. But again, you get paid for that off the job training. Learn as you earn is the strapline for the National Apprenticeship Services. So that's the way the different delivery models are about for your apprenticeship pathway. So, how do apprenticeships compare to full-time university? This is really important. This programme that the National Apprenticeship Services delivers, we started 4 years ago, and there's only about 40 plus universities that offer that higher end degree apprenticeship pathway. As you can see on the screen now, there are 100 plus universities that offer the higher end the degree apprenticeship pathway. That does include your Russell group of universities too. So how do they compare with the traditional degrees then? So with the higher end degree apprenticeships, you are going to still be learning and working at the same time. So it's not full-time university, it's full-time working and part-time studying. You are going to be earning a salary, and depending on what you're doing and the level, employer is, which employer it is, sorry, you will earn a salary, and they will determine what they're going to pay you. But your degree is fully paid for in its entirety. So the government and the employer co-fund your degree. So you have no tuition fees that you have to pay back. But you still get the experience of being a university student. You're still affiliated with the university. You still get NUS discount, and you still have a graduation ceremony. Because a lot of students think if you are doing a higher degree apprenticeship, you're not going to graduate or have that degree, the ceremony. You still do. But what does a degree apprenticeship give you? It gives you work experience. It can take up to 4 to 6 years to complete a degree apprenticeship. I appreciate that is longer than your 3 to 4 years at university. And that is only because you're part-time studying, so the duration of the course is extended. But after 4 to 6 years, you get 4 to 6 years worth of work experience, those transferable skills that I've been talking about. You get a degree fully paid for, and you're ahead of the game, in the game of those that are coming out of university, still need to develop their work skills, still potentially may have tuition fees they've got to pay back. You're already in a job, you've already got your degree fully paid for, and most employers will keep you on because they've paid for your degree. They want to see you excel, so that you'll get a full-time job at the end of it. Those are the benefits. The other thing around degree apprenticeships, how they're structured and how they're delivered is slightly different as well. So you could be blocked release to university. This basically means in the semester you're sent off by the employer to go and do some intense studying for 1 or 2 weeks. As you appreciate, halls of residence may not be available for you, but the employer will put you up in a hotel and cover all your costs. A lot of it is self-managed online learning as well, but the employer recognises that you are working and studying and will allow time for you to complete your apprenticeship as well. Also, there's a network called the Young Apprenticeship Ambassador Network that helps and supports those students that are doing degree apprenticeships as well. So it's something to think about if you are looking at doing a degree. Weigh up your options. It's always important to have a plan A and a plan B, guys, just in case something falls through. But have a look at those degree apprenticeship pathways as well. You can make up to your 5 UCAS applications as well as 10 degree apprenticeship applications as well. You don't get penalised to do both. I will say at this point as well, if you are looking at higher end degree apprenticeships, don't just limit your search function to level 4 and above. You may often have to start on a level 3. Don't be disheartened, guys. Like I said earlier, you've got to start somewhere. And a level 3 apprenticeship and then fast track you onto a level 4, or then move on to a level 4 apprenticeship. But you need to get the skills that are relevant for the role. You might have the qualifications, but you've got to build on those skills first. Just bear that in mind. Again, some employers might just ask you to start on the level 4. One website I am going to refer you to here is called the Institute of Apprenticeships. That is a really good website for you to start having a look at those higher end degree apprenticeship pathways. And if you are researching and you can't find an occupation that you want to do a degree apprenticeship in, the Institute of Apprenticeship is the body that signs off the apprenticeship pathways. Go onto that website and you'll see a box called Developing Standards. If you go in there, you can start looking at searches for occupations that are not listed or you're interested, when they're going to be signed off, which employers are going to be offering that apprenticeship rate and which universities. And what's really important as well, a lot of students think you've got to make the application for a job first, then the university. No, when you apply for a degree apprenticeship, you're applying for the package in its entirety. The employer, again, will choose what university you will be going to. They would have already had that discussion before they put the package together. So when you are making those applications and you see you're going to go to a certain university and you don't want to, that won't change. That's set in stone, because the university is offering, and that employer have put that package together to offer you that degree apprenticeship. So just bear that in mind. You don't have that flexibility of what university you want to attend when you're doing a degree apprenticeship. So how do you find apprenticeships then? So apprenticeships, again, don't run in timetable of the school. When employers have a vacancy, they will advertise. They are also hosted on many platforms, unfortunately. It's not like UCAS, just one. There are many. I'm here to help you and support you to have a look at those. So first and foremost, if you go on to Amazing Apprenticeships, or type that URL and click your region, so the Midlands. It will take you to creating your account page. Now, this is a live database of vacancies. On any given day, there's about 38,000 live vacancies on all levels of apprenticeships. When you create yourself an account, you can then access those vacancies. You can look at the information. You can make applications straight off that website as well. You can also contact companies. So that's one of the ways you can find the apprenticeship vacancies as well. And you can refine your search criteria, so you can put it how far you want to travel, 5, 10, 15, 20 miles, the level, so right the way from your level 2s all the way through to your degrees. And again, you can search for certain employers if that's what you want to do as well. So that's your main site to have a look at the apprenticeship vacancies. A lot of organisations use the Find an Apprenticeship government website to advertise their vacancies. Some organisations, you might have to be proactive and have a look at different sources of platforms, which I'm going to talk to you about in the next slide. So where else to look? So it's really important, guys, that you are proactive when you want to look for apprenticeship vacancies. Start doing your research early and start finding out what employers are looking for in terms of skills, grades, qualities. So a good thing to do is go on the company websites. A lot of them are offering virtual webinars just so that you can get an insight of what they're offering as an apprenticeship pathway. And the National Apprenticeship Services have lots of social media campaigns, so keep an eye out on them on Twitter, Facebook. We have lots of social media campaigns that advertise vacancies as well. It's simple things like talking to your family and friends. Again, lots of changes in the world of apprenticeships. You may want to talk to them today and have a look at the platforms. They find an apprenticeship platform with them. Go on to Amazing Apprenticeships as well. There's resources for students, parents, for you to have a look at. It's also about talking to family and friends, because again, family members are working for different organisations that may offer apprenticeships in something that you're interested as well. And again, on Amazing Apprenticeships, you've got this area called Vacancy Snapshot. Large organisations use this apprenticeship website to advertise their vacancies. And with Vacancy Snapshot, you will be talked about when will be a best time to apply, what they're looking for, the ideal candidate. But again, guys, you need to be proactive when you are looking for apprenticeship vacancies. Go on different websites like Indeed, CV Library, got the National Career Services. Have a look, and it's really important to have a look what the recruitment process is as well in terms of applying for apprenticeships. But the more research you do now, the earlier you can get the information, and the more support you can put into place for yourselves, there are better opportunities you will find for looking for apprenticeship vacancies as well. So it's really important that you remain proactive. You start doing your research and having a look what's out there. And again, going on to Amazing Apprenticeships, the Institute of Apprenticeships, company websites to have a look what's out there. If you are looking into something specific like the police, the fire services, the NHS, go onto their websites as well. Have a look what they're offering in terms of their apprenticeship pathway. So I hope you found the presentation useful. That is a quick overview of apprenticeships, the different levels and the range of apprenticeships that you can do, a comparison of university compared to degree apprenticeships, and again, some advice on where to look for those apprenticeship vacancies. On the screen here, if you'd like to contact us, those are our contact details. But feel free to have a look at all those vacancy platforms. And I wish you all the very best and good luck for your alternative pathways in apprenticeships if that's what you're interested in. So thank you everybody for listening to that presentation. I hope you found that presentation informative and that you've got something from the presentation as well. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'm available on the chat box, so just type them in. Even if you can't think of any questions right now, you think of something later, I will be around, so please feel free to ask me any questions, whatever you want any clarity on. More than happy to help. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Thank you. And once again, good luck in terms of thinking about apprenticeships and that pathway that you may want to consider.